Hard sports all plays. Yeah. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays. Yeah.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
Oh! This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, Monday, February 26, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez, also joined by Marcus Fine, Justin Danger, and Austin Gonzalez. How's it going, guys?
What's up? How you doing?
Well, everybody out there, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with our independent pro wrestling report, and we'll let Marcus start off with that.
Well, we need to wish Kelly a happy birthday.
That's correct.
It's actually Kelly's birthday, so.
Yes, happy birthday, Kelly Fine.
All right, I got all kinds of results to cover here, so let's see.
Marcus, how old is she? About 26?
No comment, dude. Come on. You don't go there, Tony.
I guess 26. She can't be no older than 27.
He had to get the happy birthday in there because he's afraid of that cane.
Cane, yeah. You don't get hit in the head with a cane.
Yeah, that cane, I think it's about time to replace that cane. I already kind of did a number on it. I don't know how much longer that cane's going to. We may have to have a second one come into effect here soon. But all right, let's see. Friday night at the Dub. Full house. Friday night. Logan Myers defeated Cameron Saturn. Pogo won a scramble match that included Waterboy, Cameron Cross, Too Loud Timmy Jackson, Timmy Turner, David Cross, and Damon Jackson.
Saw some interesting scramble matches this weekend.
We'll get to that. I got funnies to tell you about that anyway, too. So Jackson Morgan and Phoenix defeated Ashton Adonis and Dylan Bostic to become the number one contenders for the WCW tag titles. Vinny Vachetti and TJ Powers defeated Ruthless Domination in a chairs match. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Leela Feast defeated Carter Kaufman. Savage Love defeated Cecil Cerveza and Jason Levi, non-title match. Brody Botkins defeated WCW Gunslinger champion Zay Gates in a non-title match. That's Zay Gates' first actual pin to be pinned since he's been champ. And Jordan James and Kenneth James defeated Max Sterling and Hidari in a Mars Hill Mayhem match. That was interesting, too. All right, the show we were all at. The FEW WCW Wrestling for Cody fundraiser in Greenfield on Saturday. Zay Gates defeated IK3. Ruthless Domination defeated TJ Powers and Scarecrow. I'll have to skip that. We'll come back to it. Phoenix defeated Cecil Cerveza. Cody Nunn defeated Timmy Turner to retain the FEW Mid-Continental title. Kenneth James defeated FEW Heavyweight Champion Mitchell Taylor via DQ. And the WCW owner Joey Owens and the FEW owner Alex Bolton defeated Jordan James and Jackson Morgan. And then there was a scramble match. Cinco won a scramble match that included Waterboy, Cameron Cross, Willie Lose Again, and Brody Botkins. Go ahead, guys.
It was very interesting. Austin, you're bigger than Seiko. Cinco or whatever the hell his name is. You're bigger than him, and your dad moves better than him.
Okay.
So it was something special.
You need to go on Gonzo's, and you need to go and look at the FEW fundraiser, and you need to watch that.
Yes,
We had
it was very interesting.
commentary entertaining for the viewers because the match sure the hell was not. So
We went off the rails, definitely. And I wasn't a big part of the commentary. I think I did one match, and that was right after that, and it was something else. But anyway, but on that note, they did a great job. They raised quite a bit of money.
$1,200.
$1,200 for that gentleman that was injured, Cody, that was injured in a car accident a few months ago, and he's still in the hospital. So hopefully he's.
Well, no, actually, I heard something different. I heard he's in rehab now.
Okay, rehab. Okay.
Yeah, so he's actually out of the hospital. So we're making progress here. So, but yeah, we had a good time. It was an interesting night of matches for a good cause. But yeah, we've seen some stuff we never thought we'd ever see. So,
Definitely.
Okay, Sunday, Warrior Pro Wrestling 29 from Danville, and we were all three at that. JB defeated Jared Kripke via DQ. TY Ice defeated Miguel Murphy. Prestigious Worldwide defeated Heart and Soul. Ruthless Domination defeated Brody Botkins and Jackson Morgan to retain the WPW Tag Team titles. Stay Gates defeated Hidari to retain the WPW Warrior Pride title. And I'll try to get this right. So IK3 defeated Blake Money Wright, and he became the new WPW Heavyweight Champion. But Jesse Winchester cashed in his Battle Royal winning contract and came out and he defeated IK3, and now he's the new WPW Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, and then we also had something else happen at the end of that.
Oh yeah, on the return of Jake Carter. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We also had Jeremy Hagley on commentary with us.
Yes,
if you want to,
that was something else.
Yeah, because I couldn't keep up with him. That guy is so quick-witted that once he said something, I'm trying to come up with something to reply, and then he's spouting off something else. It's like,
oh, just some of the stuff people may not know, and he claims it's 100% fact. He's body slammed Andre the Giant 3 times, and the last time he killed him. That's one of his facts.
He built Wembley Stadium just to body slam Andre the Giant one of those times.
Yep, and then also he body slammed Yokozuna on the Intrepid. I thought that was Lex Luger, but evidently it was him.
Well, he said he body slammed me twice in 1942, and that must have been way before I was alive. So I don't know everything about that.
That's what he said.
He was also at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift.
Yep, it was Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. He's a big Taylor Swift fan. He doesn't know any of her songs, but
I thought the fake thing was what he said. Hidari's the one that would killed the lion from the Jungle Book and ate the lion and invited him over for dinner. And I'm over there because now I'm off commentary because there's 5 of us and I'm sitting at the table. I'm just losing it. It's like, whew.
the favorite thing he said the whole night was he wanted Jackson Morgan to babysit his daughter, so hopefully he would never have to see his daughter again. That was my favorite. That was my favorite thing that he said. I couldn't believe he said it, but he did.
That was pretty early in the show.
Yeah. He's something special, no doubt.
Well, it was fun.
It was different, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was. Okay, I do have FEW from Greenfield from Sunday also. So
okay.
This is courtesy of Alex Bolton, the FEW promoter owner. FEW Sunday, I think he said they have about 50 people, not bad. KJ Reynolds. Hang on, man. Some of these names I don't know. KJ Reynolds defeated Adam Wick. Shauna Reed defeated Casey Clay. Triple threat tag team match. British Empire versus the Move Makers versus the Cornfield Mafia. No contest because the referee lost control.
Imagine that.
Well, at least he didn't DQ one of them. Ryan Matthias defeated Calvin Coco. Mitchell Taylor defeated War Ready Maliko to retain the FEW Championship. Haley Shadows defeated Thunder Key to retain the FEW Ladies title. Brandon Day and Michael Elgin defeated Jacob Rose and his mystery partner, Dylan Bostic.
Okay, that's who the
And that's a solid card. I told Alex
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good card.
So that's what I have on results.
Okay, well, before we get to our main topic tonight, I wanted to go over the Elimination Chamber real quick. Hopefully, I don't know who all got to see it. I know Chris didn't see it. I believe Marcus did, and I know Austin did. Justin, did you get to see Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, I saw most of it.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to start off with the very first match, which was the ladies' Elimination Chamber. I thought
did you watch the pre-show?
I did not.
There was a match on there, but
Yes,
it wasn't.
yes.
It was just a thrown together match, but it was an okay match.
And Austin, don't let me forget. I want to tell you about a review I read after we're done, and before we move on. I want to. You're going to freak out.
Who was in the pre-show match?
It was the Kabuki Warriors versus Indy and Candice for the tag, for Indy to get, like, because she's from Australia. So it was a decent match. Wasn't anything crazy, anything bad. Just an okay match to have her give her a moment.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought the Elimination Chamber match with the women was really good. I thought it was really innovative. I thought that was really physical. I thought they used the chamber really well. I thought they did a lot of high spots too. I thought everybody got offense. I thought Tiffany Stratton was definitely the star. I thought she looked really good. I've heard a little bit of backlash that some people didn't think Becky Lynch should be the winner, but I think that's the right result at this point. I mean, Bianca's been in the main event or been really high up on the card of WrestleMania the last couple of years, and she still may have a big match. So, let's just, let it play out. But Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I was definitely the more flashy moves, like you were saying, of the chambers, which I think was good with the women that you had in there. A lot of them were very smaller and high fly, like half of them at least. I think Tiffany was the MVP for me. Got eliminated a little early, her and Naomi, but that was okay. I thought it was sloppy in some points, but it's a chamber match. Liv was a little off in some points. I thought she was missing her keys a little, but it was a great match. I gave it a B plus. I thought it was really good, and I'm okay with Becky winning because Becky and Rhea. WrestleMania should be great. So
Before let somebody else comment, you mentioned MVP. Also want to give Raquel Rodriguez MVP because she's been ill and on her way. She's got some type of illness that's really affecting her body and her skin. She's put on some weight, and while she took that flight, she had another attack. They didn't even know she was going to get to wrestle, but I seen some pictures of her skin just being inflamed, her face.
I mean, you can kind of tell just at the Elimination Chamber.
When she came out, you could see her face. I don't think she can wear makeup. Her face was swollen. You can see that definitely but she still was a trooper and went out there and performed really well. But she's definitely having some health problems. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. I thought she did a great job, especially considering the circumstances. Marcus, what did you think of that match?
Oh, I thought it was good. I got to thinking because we were talking about the high spots. They had to protect that cage too. That's probably why they did more high spots in the ladies match than the men's, because they had to protect the chamber because of the men's coming up. And then once the men started, they just decided to start destroying it because
it was more grounded.
They couldn't destroy it during the first one because I'm sure they didn't have replacement panels and stuff. So, but I was impressed. And who didn't see Becky winning that? I mean, they kind of set that up at the press conference at Becky.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Justin, did you happen to see that match?
I thought that was a better match than the men's by far. Like, everything about it just seemed like there was more surprises about it, I guess. The men's kind of just fell into your lap like it was supposed to, and everybody knew, it seemed like to me. But yeah, like I thought the women's was a better Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a nod a little bit over it, but I really enjoyed the men's too. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. Okay, Chris, you didn't see any of it, did you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, the next matchup was the Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Austin. Help me with his name because I'm forgetting again.
Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate.
How can you forget?
I
I'm just
forget
gonna
his
say
name every
he
time.
might be the best in the ring to me right now. That dude is fantastic.
I don't
That
disagree.
match, I knew that match would be good because of the two teams in there, but I kind of wasn't, it wasn't the match I was watching the pay-per-view for. It was kind of a match I was overlooking, and man, that was a great tag match. It was one of the best tag matches they've had in a while. I thought all four of them looked great, but Tyler Bates a star. I want him to go to Raw, face Gunther already. I hope they do that, but it was a great match.
I think we're getting Gable.
I mean, I'm fine with Gable too.
That's what I think we're going to get at WrestleMania. I think, but we'll see. Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I'm big fans of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, even though I can't never
Hey,
remember
and
Tyler
Priest and
Bate's
Balor were
name.
great too. I mean, especially
Yeah,
Priest.
they're
Especially
great.
Priest. But, yeah.
Marcus, what do you think of that match?
Well, from what I've seen, because I was working up pictures too, I thought it was good. I like how they put Dominic in it and then kicked him out. Those guys did their maneuvers. They would have been champs if it wasn't for Dominic. They played that the way they needed to. Had him do his damage and then kick him out. That other tag team, not the Judgment Day, but the other ones. I'm sorry, I'm still new to those guys, but they're good.
Yeah,
I agree with Austin. They're good, and I bet they will be the next champs. That's my guess. So they need to be.
I'm down for it. They're both really good singles. Go from maybe get a good tag run and then branch out. What are you talking about, Dominic? Dude, that reaction from the crowd, they had to black out the TV for like 30 seconds because the whole front row apparently flipped off Dominic.
Well, and I thought when he was announcing them too, they were so loud you couldn't hear who he was announcing. I mean, they were loud that they were drowning out him trying to announce his team, and I thought
it was funny.
He is awesome.
Yeah. Before I watched the pay-per-view, I was at work. All I kept seeing was comments saying this crowd was dead, and I was like, oh, I'll wait and watch it. People are crazy. That crowd was dead.
The crowd was great. Good. Yeah, I thought the crowd was good too. Justin, did you happen to see that tag?
No, actually, I skipped that match.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good match. Next up, we had the men's elimination chamber. I really enjoyed the match, and I really liked the finish. I liked the way they set up a couple matches for WrestleMania. I enjoyed him using the brass knuckles and knocking out Orton. Looked like Orton was going to win it all, but I really enjoyed the match. I will admit I thought the ladies' match might have been a little better, but I thought both matches were real good.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were both really good. They're about the same for me. The men's was different in a way that, it wasn't as flashy and stuff and maybe as entertaining in terms of the wrestling as the women's, but the stories, like you said, the setting up future matches and stuff, and it was interesting. It was a different thing what I was expecting for the men's, but I thought it worked out. It was different, but it worked. I thought it was pretty good. Even Randy is the greatest seller of all time, or he's hurt though. That dude was playing that back.
Yep. Yeah, he was. Marcus, what'd you think?
No, I thought it was great. I wish Logan Paul would have done some more jumping because he's a good high flyer and he had the opportunity and he didn't do it. But I like how Kevin Owens and Logan got in that pod and they got to beating the shit out of each other in there and to set up the matches for Orton and Logan Paul and AJ and Drew.
LA Knight.
Who is it? Oh, it's LA Knight. I was trying to get my players.
Yeah. Owens.
I love how they did that.
Owens and Paul have just great chemistry. I mean, they have great chemistry together. It's just great.
Now, do you think they do just Logan versus Randy at WrestleMania? Do you think they throw Kevin in there and make it a triple threat for the United States Championship at WrestleMania?
They might.
I've seen people going back and forth on that. I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, it'd be all right. I'd be all right with
that. Justin, did you happen to see that match?
Yeah, I didn't care for the two basic screw finishes that they had with Logan Paul and AJ. I get why it was there, but it's a hell in or elimination chamber. Like nobody should be entering and exiting basically unless they're pinned. And that was one of the things that really was like stood out to me, I guess. But I look at everything a lot different than most people do.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Some people didn't understand why the thing was open, but they came in. They came in to get Bobby Lashley. They
Yeah,
had
it
3
was open
referees
to
come
loose
in,
ends.
and they were helping him out. And then here comes Styles. So they did set it up okay, but I do understand what you're saying.
Can I do a nitpick?
Yeah.
Why the hell's the damn door the size of a garage door? I mean, seriously, you could have drove a truck into that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know why it is so big, but it's been
it's
that way for
always
quite a
been
while.
like
But I
that.
don't know
Yeah,
why.
I don't
You
know
gonna
why
change
it
that?
gets
So
so
you
big.
can't tell me. Well, maybe they ran out of change somewhere. They had to make a big opening. I don't know. I told you it was
That's a
different.
good question.
Then the last match, Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. I really enjoyed the match. I thought they did a real good job of setting it up. I thought they played it great. Of course, Rhea in her home country was a big fan favorite. I thought it was great that they took shots of her whole family and friends. I think they said there were 17 of them all together or something like that, sitting there at the front and second row. I know Marcus and Austin's not big Nia Jax fans, but I thought they did a really good job. That's probably the best I've seen Nia look. And that may have a lot to do with Rhea, but I thought it was a good match, and I'm glad Rhea got to do the main event. So I thought it was set up very well.
Yeah, first thing, yeah, I'm happy that they gave them the main event. I think that was the right decision. I think it was the best way to end it. Yeah, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not a big Nia fan, but it was probably her best match I've seen her do. Um, and I'm not gonna, I have to give her credit. I'm not gonna give it all to Rhea, but I think it shows how good Rhea is because man, she doesn't really put on a bad match. She's great. Yeah, it was entertaining. I give it a B. I thought it was a solid match.
What's up, Billy?
Justin, did you happen to see that one?
Yeah, Rhea's by far the best women's wrestler right now. Like,
I agree 100%.
without a doubt, you can even put her back in the Attitude Era. She's the best wrestler. Like anybody, she can work with. And I don't care for Nia Jax, but this was a really good match. And like I said, Rhea just is on top of everything right now.
I agree. I think she's the best woman wrestler right now, and I don't think there's. And I like Becky, and I like Charlotte, and I like a lot of people. I don't think there's anybody close to her on the total package right now. There's nobody close to her. And that's almost including a lot of the men. She might be number one in the sport period right now. Honestly, she's really close if she's not. What I wanted to touch on, I read a review from Wrestling. It's a website called Wrestling Link. It's one that I followed a lot over the years, and they did the review based on the results of each match. Okay, they did the pre-show match, and they thought it was well done. They give it an A. Okay. The next match was the Elimination Chamber. Becky Lynch won, and they give that match a D-.
A what?
A D-.
You said D, right? Like dog?
D. Yeah. And said the only reason they didn't give it an F was because Raquel Rodriguez didn't win it. If she would have won it, they would have given it an F.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I couldn't believe it when I read that.
Were they watching it or listening to it?
I don't know. They give the Judgment Day and Pete Dunne. They give that an A+. They give the Orton and the Orton match with them guys, Elimination Chamber. They give that an A, and they give Nia and Rhea Ripley an A. But they give that.
So are they just Becky haters, or
I think they're mad because Becky won.
I get whatever.
That sounds very biased to me.
People are sick of Becky being whatever, blah blah blah. They need to get over it. Becky's still one of the best in the world for women's wrestling. That match is a big match. That match is a huge match. Her versus Rhea. Haven't got it yet. Having it at WrestleMania, it makes sense. You can call it predictable, whatever. That was the biggest thing I've seen people say. The whole pay-per-view was so predictable. If that's the worst thing you can say about the pay-per-view, in my opinion, that's great. That's good. The pay-per-view was solid. Who cares if it was predictable?
You can't have surprises all the time. Because if you have surprises all the time, people are going to.
He's wondering what that background noise is.
Yeah. We can like hear
Yeah,
ourselves.
people will get sick of it. I mean, you can't. Well, it happened in AEW. AEW got relying on surprises all the time, and if they didn't deliver, then the fans turned on them. So,
Yeah. I don't know what people want, you know.
well, some people said they thought Tiffany Stratton should have been go to WrestleMania. She's not
And
ready.
you know what's
Not
funny is
ready
though,
for
a
that.
week ago, all I was seeing comment wise from people that just watched main roster stuff were hating on Tiffany until Elimination Chamber. All people that watched her NXT and stuff were excited. Like me, I was ready for her. I knew what she was. But a lot of people that only watch Raw and SmackDown were hating, saying she was overrated, saying she's terrible. And then now they're saying she wants her to win that. You know,
Well, she's only 24 years old. She's been in the business maybe 2 years. She was originally trained by Ken Anderson, Mr. Kennedy. That's who originally started off training her, and
that's interesting.
she's fantastic. But I wanted to tell you about that, Austin. I thought you'd you know what that is?
You know, like I said, the only bad thing I can think
Yeah,
about the
we all-
pay-per-view for real is maybe it was a little bit predictable, but a lot of things in wrestling are predictable. Like as long as it's executed well and is entertaining, that's all that matters to me. So it was a great pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a solid B+ pay-per-view.
I agree. I love you.
I think it also has to do with
I'll be
the
able to
fact
hear you.
that so many people's done high risk stuff in the elimination chamber. When you don't do it in one elimination chamber and you tell more story, then it's not a good elimination chamber. But it really was.
Yes.
And that's the problem with wrestling now is everybody's trying to top each other. Well, it's kind of hard to top each other now because everybody's done everything.
I fixed it. I thought it did, but it didn't.
I didn't do that. I would
Yeah,
check the sound.
that's a good point.
See, now it stopped.
And
Turn your
it's
head
back.
again.
What?
Oh, I thought maybe you turned your head and it stopped.
I can still hear it.
Is one of your guys' like headphones picking up the other headphones, like the other person talking?
That's what I wondered. Chris had told me that headphone.
Turn your headphone on. Is it doing it now?
No. Well, yeah.
A little bit.
I don't
Still
know.
doing it. Yeah, I thought it was a real good pay per view. I enjoyed it.
All right, Tony, hush up a bit. It's in Tony's mic. I think it's an our mic. When we talk, that's when it does it. If you're quiet, it don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I turned his mic off and it's still doing it.
Maybe it's just the app. Because it's doing it when we all talk.
Yeah, and people are going to have to get used to. I mean, and the people from AEW, they criticized WWE and said that story doesn't matter. It's about the moves and stuff, and Triple H is boring and stuff. And that's just criticism they're going to use. That's fine, but storyline is what gets more people interested. I mean, WWE is doing record numbers right now, and AEW is struggling. So I think we know what's working. And I'm not putting down AEW. I watch it every week. So I'm not. I'm just. But from that standpoint, the more story you can have, I think the more people are going to be involved and interested in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they can say it's all we want, but Becky versus Rhea is definitely a WrestleMania worthy match. Drew versus Seth, maybe it's not what we were going to get, at first, but that's a WrestleMania match. And I think both matches are going to be great.
And I got.
Nope, now I'm in charge. Nope, it's still doing it. If it's in mine.
We're on the show without them.
And that happens every so often. Now you can talk about them now. Do you have anything to tell about them now? No, it's up to your own. You get to choose.
I ain't got nothing. Oh, man.
Go ahead and say something.
I can't think of nothing. Blanking.
All And I thought maybe it might have been my mic, but we were doing it when I was muted too. So weird.
Should be back on.
You're on, but it was doing it while you guys were on.
Yeah. He didn't mean to take us out.
Well, I was trying to fix the sound, and I knocked this out.
Yeah,
It's
my
gotta be
prediction is, I may be going off on this, but I think Drew's going to win the belt. I think Priest is going. They're going to lose the tag team title. Priest does not like Drew, and I think he's going to cash in and take the championship from Drew.
See, I think the way they're going to do it is Priest is going to enter the match during the match, like Seth did, and do what Seth did to Brock and Roman and cash in, make it a triple threat, and cash in during the match at WrestleMania and win. That's what I think they're going to do.
That's possible. It should be a lot of fun. Well, we're going to move on to our topic. Hopefully, people can hear something.
We might have to just wait. Sounds.
You want me to do this thing about the Pirates?
I couldn't. What'd you say, Margaret?
You want me to do this story about the Pirates?
Yeah. I'm gonna back this out real quick. If you want to do that, go ahead. And I'm gonna come back in and see if that helps with anything.
Okay. So Kelly and I was sitting here talking, and I said, I wonder how they got that cage over there. If they built a cage in Australia, or if they took the one from the U.S. over. Did anybody hear about this story on how that cage got over there? Well, they originally was going to ship it through the Suez Canal, but the pirates said that ain't happening. So they had to reroute how they got it there, and I guess they put it on a truck in Miami, drove it to L.A., then they stuck it on a ship and shipped it over to Sydney. They had to take it the long way because the pirates wasn't going to let them bring it through the Suez Canal to Australia. So I don't know what they would have done if the pirates got a hold of the cage. Then they couldn't do elimination chamber when the elimination chamber was literally seized.
That's interesting.
That'd be a better story, anyways.
Be interesting to see what they came up with. Because I think they said it took like 6 weeks to put that thing together originally. Because you got to link all them things together.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were talking at, I think we was talking at lunch yesterday. Somebody had said that they had taken that thing apart after the women's match was over to run the men's tag team and then put it back together, and we're all saying, oh, that's bullshit. I said, if you look behind those screens, you can see it. They lifted it.
Right.
There's no way they could have taken that apart 10 minutes and put it back together.
When we talk,
No, it would have been set next to the ringside.
Well, yeah, if you ever done
They
it,
carry it all the way back to the back and then carry it all the way back to put it back together.
Yeah, in 10 minutes, it's like, no. If you ever dealt with a cage, you know that's not how it happens, even a standard cage.
Right.
You want us all to back out once and see if it helps?
does that make any difference?
No, I don't know what's going on. No, we didn't have none of this earlier.
No, when we done it.
I mean, it doesn't make me think it's your equipment with it doing it to all of us. It's making me think it's something to do with the app or something.
Yeah.
Like the StreamYard stuff. Like, I don't think it's anything to do with your equipment.
Everybody back in, right? Real quick.
We just did.
You take everybody out.
I mean, we can take everybody out.
We're gonna try to take everybody out real quick and come back.
All right.
One, two, three.
Hello?
1, 2, 3.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's not doing it right now.
Uh-oh.
Is it me?
I think it's you.
Ah.
Talk, Austin.
Austin, talk.
What's up?
It's Justin's.
It's Justin. One, two, three. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Justin.
But what
Looks like
was
he's
it?
trying to fix it.
He's trying to
I'm
fix
wondering
whatever.
if his mic and his speaker.
Might be too close together
When
or
he
something.
hears us, it's going into his speaker, and we hear it again, or into his mic, and we're hearing it again.
Well, he's
Yeah.
thinking maybe he's got it on his TV.
Well, that could be because I
Somebody's
don't know if that's the first interview we did. I had my son's in here. Turn all this shit off so this will work because you get all that background noise.
Yeah. See, I just had my earbud in.
I don't know.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Still doing it.
Yep. Just doing it on Justin for some reason.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. That help anything?
I think so. I don't
Yeah.
hear anything.
Right now.
You know, maybe it's just hitting these walls right, and the acoustics in that room was.
Say something, Justin.
Is that any better?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it must have just been bouncing the wall right.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, guys, we'll get started real quick
My
on
fault.
our.
My fault.
Oh, you're
No.
fine.
Well, no, I went to your settings and it had echo cancellation on. I turned that off and it quit. So
No, it was Chris's
Oh,
fault.
well.
Then we should have known, Tony. It was Chris's fault.
I didn't change nothing.
That's
It's
your
also
fault.
how it's always been. Although, hey, Marcus, you've seen it happen before. 30 seconds before the show goes live, everything's fine, and then we go live and nothing would work.
No,
Yeah, I remember. I
I was
remember.
about ready to throw the whole. I was about ready to tip the whole table over that night.
that was a rough night period anyway. Though. Stop. Also, I'm gonna let you go first because you're gonna have to get out of here in a little bit. I know you got a meeting you have to go to at work. What we was talking about, or our topic tonight, was wrestling memories, things that stood out to you, maybe as a kid, maybe as a teenager, maybe as now, and this that type of stuff.
Yeah. I wrote down everything I could remember. Memories of going to, mostly memories going to events. Big one, SummerSlam 2008. Us three went to in Indy. A great pay-per-view. Just a rundown. MVP versus Jeff Hardy. Glamorella, which is Beth Phoenix and Santino Marella versus Kofi Kingston and Mickey James for the Intercontinental title and the women's title. Whichever team won got both. Matt Hardy versus Mark Henry for the ECW. CM Punk versus JBL for the world title. Triple H versus Great Khali for the WWE title. And Batista versus Cena, first time ever. And the main event, Undertaker versus Edge, in one of the best, probably the best match I've ever seen live in a Hell in a Cell match. I think one of the best Hell in a Cell matches too. That event was great. We were about the 12th row back. You know, in the regular stands, they had like the seats on the floor, and then they had the regular. We were about 12 rows back. Great seats, right in the middle. It was perfect. It was definitely the best experience I've had. And that Hell in a Cell match is great.
Yep, that was one of the ones I had. That was something I had wrote down too.
I didn't put it down because I knew you guys would. Yeah, it was definitely one of the favorite matches I've ever seen live, but maybe the best.
Also, a couple live shows at Ball State. I remember at a Ball State, 11 Ball State, second row. I don't know how we got second row. Maybe Nana hooked us up at the time. She was, but I remember a match, a steel cage match between the Big Show and the Undertaker. I'm like 8 or 9, and we're in the second row, dude. I'm the two biggest people I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Big Show and Undertaker, literally like 10 feet away from me in a steel cage match. That was.
I remember correctly. We was on the aisleway as well, weren't we?
Yeah. We were right next to where they came down. We were right there. Also, this. I don't think it was the same one because I remember being farther back, but it was also Ball State. The Boogeyman came out. I was a huge Boogeyman fan. Had all the accessories and stuff, but man, when that music came out and I was in the building, I just remember getting terrified. I was looking all
I
around.
remember that.
I thought he was going to come out from the top. I don't know why I thought that because he's never done that. But
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't there
No.
for that one. I was still at a wrestling amateur wrestling meet because you guys left
Yeah, we left
for that
'cause-
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it was funny because he's the biggest Boogeyman fan, but he was also terrified of
I
Boogeyman.
I had the staff. I had the clock that you could break the fake glass over your head. I had
What
the
did I-
heart.
What was it, a heart?
Heart. Yep.
Yep.
Had all this stuff,
Uh,
but he was terrified of him.
But yeah. Well, speaking of one that you weren't at, this next one is one that Papa wasn't at. Me and you went to a house show, 2013. I looked it up, the date, so I could look up the card. December 27, 2013, house show at Bankers Life. We had my dad got us tickets for Christmas. December 27th. Dolph Ziggler versus Ryback, Natalia versus AJ Lee, Primetime Players versus Kofi and The Miz, Wade Barrett versus Tyson Kidd, a steel cage 6-man tag between Daniel Bryan and the Usos versus the Wyatt family, Big E versus Sandow for the Intercontinental, and a 3-on-1 handicap match was the main event with CM Punk versus The Shield. So that was a pretty cool one as well. And you didn't go to that one.
No, I didn't.
And then the next night we went and watched the
Pacers
Pacers.
game the next night. Yep. And the last thing I wrote down, this wasn't main. This was an indie one, but it was my birthday party that we had before the wrestling card. We got to all get in the ring. I was in there doing old school off the top rope, looking like the Undertaker. I was doing springboards. I don't know how I was doing that. I was like 10, but I was doing it. And
Yeah, I don't even know if he was 10 yet. Might have been 9 or 10.
Somewhere around there.
You remember who you pinned?
yeah, it was Mike King.
Yeah,
You paid
he's won
Mike
his
King?
rematch.
Yeah, he pinned Mike King that day.
He's won his rematch.
And I also got to do a peep eating contest, which I wasn't happy about, but I got pulled into it because I was the birthday kid and I hate peeps. I remember that. Like, I hate that. Because I would love to do like a eating contest, but the one thing I didn't want to do was peeps. But my birthday is around Easter, so that's what I got stuck with.
Yeah, I remember that
I forgot about that, but I do remember that now.
because
It was fun.
when Shark Boy was at that show, wasn't he?
I think the main event might have been him and somebody else in a steel cage match, if I
You
remember
got
right.
your cage matches down, don't you?
Yeah.
That's great.
Steel cage, Hell in the Cell. That Hell in the Cell, I don't know if you ever watched it. 2008 SummerSlam. You should watch it. It was a really great match.
I do know, and this is not a good memory for you, Austin, because you got sicker and heck and ended up in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
But
I didn't write that
we did
one
a big
down.
show at Raw Center outside called Ballpark Brawl, and had Scotty Too Hottie there.
Kevin Thorne, Rosie, Scotty Too Hottie.
Yes,
Danger might have been there.
Danger might have been at that
because
match.
it was EWF.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably was then.
Here it was in Muncie.
Yeah.
Show was
It was
out
on
in the ball
Baseball
diamond
Diner.
there at the community
Yeah.
center.
But Austin got really sick and
I got
took him to the
dehydrated.
hospital, and his blood count was all messed up, and they were worried, so they kept him overnight. But then overnight, the blood count got okay for whatever reason. He had problems with his blood count white cells, and yeah, he did get to meet before because he was late getting there. But right before we left, he got to meet Scotty Too Hottie and take a picture with him.
I have the picture on my phone. Dude, my eyes are barely open. I'm like in a half smile. Scotty Too Hottie just like this.
You was sicker as hell.
And,
the show started, and just all of a sudden he got sick because I can remember a real good friend of ours named Keisha. I look over and she's holding him up in the air over a trash can, and he's puking in a trash can. I'm like, what's going on?
It was right when Kevin Thorne and Rosie were coming out. It was the first match. I was so excited to watch because it was like the first one I've seen so many like old WWE people around. So yeah, it wasn't a fun time.
No, it was not I didn't think you had that down as a good memory.
It's a memory though. It's a memory. It's there.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, who wants to go next? Not everybody at once.
I can go.
Okay.
Mine's not me going to shows because I've only been to one show my entire life, and that
Really?
was when I was 30. So it was only like 10 years ago that I went to a show. But the very first one I have is WrestleMania 7, The Rockers versus Ming and the Barbarian with Bobby Heenan. And the reason why I have this one is because this is the first pay per view I had on tape, and I religiously watched it every day. And I just remember the Rockers versus Ming and Barbarian. And then memorable matches was Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at Survivor Series. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker in the career match for Shawn Michaels. Doink versus Crush. I'm horrible with pay per views and years and stuff, by the way. But Doink versus Crush, when there was two Doinks that came into the ring and they did the little mirror spot, that was just something that always stuck with me after I seen that.
Wasn't that at
Um,
one of the Trump's WrestleManias?
yeah.
Yeah, one of those. I can't remember which one.
Well, 4 was the if you're
No,
talking.
no, no. That was Julius Caesar.
Oh, that's 9.
Yeah,
9.
the Doink and Crush match was outside
Yeah,
at
no, that's
Julius
probably
Caesar.
9.
That was 9. Yeah.
And
4.
then
Is that the one where I come in on a camel? Yeah, Heenan came in on a
Camel
camel.
backwards.
yeah,
Yeah,
Riding the camel back.
I have Valentine and Piper in the dog collar match because once I seen that was just one of my favorite matches. Um, a horrible memory was Owen Hart's death. When I found out about that, that was that was probably one of the
I
worst
was watching.
wrestling moments. But Owen
yeah,
versus
that was
Brett,
crazy.
oh yeah, any of Owen versus Brett matches was really good to watch, and the story behind it, especially in the cage match. Um, Seeing Bruiser Brody in Japan and watching the fans just scatter from him because he was just a monster.
Yeah.
That just stood out to me. Um, Jake Roberts Cobra at Randy Savage's wedding ceremony or after the pay per view, whatnot. That stood out to me. And Rick Rude's tights. It was always amazing. And then my favorite moment was me versus Raven at EWF.
I bet.
Sounds cool.
Okay, I'll go next, guys. I'm going with my earliest memory first, I think. And I didn't know it was my earliest memory until I did a little research because I thought my earliest was as far as TV goes, it was watching Indianapolis wrestling, WWA Bruisers wrestling with my family on I believe Saturday nights. Could have been Sunday nights. I don't remember because it was in the late '60s and early '70s, and for some reason, and I've told Marcus and them, Prince Pullins was my favorite. Of course, I love Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher, and the Valiant Brothers really stood out to me. So that's my earliest memory. But my earliest live one I thought was Bruiser and Crusher versus the Blackjacks in Newcastle, and also Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan at the time. He was Pretty Boy Bobby Heenan at the time against Billy Red Cloud in a chain match, and just seeing Bobby Heenan a bloody mess. And also, I remember Bobby Bold Eagle was on that card. I don't know who he wrestled, but I remember that he was on that card. Uh, but but that wasn't the earliest one. My earliest one was a friend of mine named John Mooneyhan took me to the um, Armory here in Muncie. And that's when the Armory was downtown. And there was Mitsu Arakawa was a Japanese wrestler, and Mr. Moto was his tag team partner, and they wrestled Bruiser and Crusher. And they wrestled 67, 68, 69 was when they were there. So it had to be during that time. But what stood out to me, none of them, I don't remember the matches, but what stood out to me, they were in the ring, and Mitsu come out of the ring and was standing there, and there was a lady who had a Coke in her hand. She decided to come up from her seat, and she was going to pour it on Mitsu. And she turns to the crowd and showing the Coke. The crowd's going crazy. Well, a police guard, not paying any attention, stepped in front of Mitsu Arakawa. Just happened to step there. He didn't know that she was going to do this, and she didn't look. She just turned around and threw that pop, and it went all over that policeman. And that's why that really stood out to me. The crowd went crazy, but that was my earliest memory as a match live. And then we get into also watching the in Texas when we go to Texas to visit family. All my dad's family lived in Texas. Seeing world class wrestling and seeing Bruiser Brody for the first time in the late '70s, and then seeing the Von Erichs and the Freebirds. I mean, that was one of my favorite things about going to Texas. It wasn't as much about seeing my family; it was going to see world class because it was the only way I could see it because it wasn't on TV around here. And then, of course, Georgia Championship Wrestling and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer and that big feud he had with Tommy Rich and the last battle of Atlanta. Just was crazy. Really, I think that feud was, I believe it was like 2 years long, and it was just nuts. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorites, watching Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors first come on the scene in Georgia Championship and also in the NWA and later WCW, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. This went up during those times. In my opinion, I think the 80s was the best wrestling. I know Austin's not going to agree with that, of course. He's going to think his, and I understand that. I do understand that. Also, great memories for me was taking my kids to see WWE. I remember, I don't know if he remembers, but he got to see Chris and them got to see the Rockers against the Powers of Pain, which I thought was cool. Brutus Beefcake against Randy Savage with Elizabeth
It's
and
supposed to be Hulk
Hogan. Elizabeth was in Brutus Beefcake's corner. Got to see Ultimate Warrior in the Earthquake in a cage match. I went with a friend. He wasn't there, but I got to see Undertaker and Yokozuna. And you talk about seeing somebody alive. Yokozuna was just
That's pretty cool.
unbelievable seeing him live. It was just nuts. And then also we went to Ball State. I know you remember that, seeing the TV tapings raw, and we got to see Bret Hart and Owen Hart and Stone Cold, all the guys that were hot on Monday Night Raw during '97 and '98. So we went to some of them shows.
That was that's when they first ever came to the Ball State Arena after they built it.
Yep.
So I remember it was a big deal that they were coming to Muncie, to Ball State. But it was because Ball State just built that big or I guess they ain't big, but a decent size arena there for basketball.
And some of my all-time favorite things, one was the Dusty and the Four Horsemen feud. It went on forever. That's one of my favorite things in wrestling. But one thing I want to bring up about Nitro, which I know, NWO was cool and everything, but it wasn't my favorite part of Nitro. My favorite part of Nitro was their introduction of the cruiserweights and seeing wrestling that we wasn't seeing on TV with the Jerichos and when Benoit's and all these guys coming in and doing the wrestling,
Eddie and
Malenko and seeing wrestlers that, and the wrestling we really wasn't getting on TV at that time. I thought that was the coolest thing. And then seeing Hogan and Andre, was phenomenal. And then Daniel Bryan winning that title at WrestleMania, I believe it was 30th, was one of my favorite moments.
Yep. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think I'm gonna have to dip out of here.
Yep.
Just one thing just popped in my brain. One other thing I forgot. We went to a show. I don't know how I forgot it. But Brutus Beefcake Barber was there. Greg Valentine was there, and we had Scott Steiner versus
G.W.R. Or no, he's talking about the one here in Muncie.
Scott Steiner versus Buff Bagwell. And for some reason, why am I thinking King Kong Bundy was there?
No, we went to a show Bundy was at, but it wasn't that show.
Yeah, you were afraid to get in the ring.
You won a raffle to get in the ring with Bundy, and you wouldn't get in the ring.
That just popped in my head.
You were, maybe I don't even know how old you were. You were real little, but yeah, you wouldn't get in the ring with them. You looked up there, you had to know.
I remember meeting Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell, both of them really nice. But Scott Steiner it was funny because right before me, I seen him kind of get a little, maybe a little rude towards this adult. But then I came up nice as can be. He was as nice as he could be to me. So that was a cool memory because I was a big Scott Steiner fan growing up. But yeah, all right.
Beefcake was a different show.
Yeah,
Beefcake was another show.
Beefcake was the EWF.
show.
It was the first EWF show we
Yeah,
went to in Converse.
It's just all running. It's all running together.
Yeah,
The Beefcake was that. But the other one he was talking about was Buff Bagwell, Steiner,
Great Hammer Valentine.
Yeah, Hammer Valentine.
We helped put on and we got ripped off. Yeah.
That was here in Muncie, and then Bundy. I forget what promotion that was. It was here in Muncie at the fair. It was at the fairgrounds in Muncie, but it was I forget what promotion it was now. But yeah. I'll always remember that because I tried everything to get you in that ring, and you wouldn't get your picture. You wouldn't get it.
All right, I'll see you guys.
See you later.
All right, see you, bub.
Chris, you want to go next?
Yeah, I can go. One of my earliest memories of watching wrestling would be Andre and Hogan, because that's always been stuck in my head of us going out there and we was all watching it over at Steve's house.
Yep.
But then, like going to all the shows as a kid, got to touch Damien there at Market Square Arena when Jake the Snake came out, and he held the snake up there. We had aisle seats. That's something I've always remember. Getting to meet Jake the Snake here in Muncie when he was there in Muncie. I sat outside Ross Center for probably a half hour or longer, just talking to Jake the Snake Roberts. So that was always cool. But got to see a lot of people. One person I didn't get to see was Hulk Hogan really back when I was younger. But then some memories I had wrote down was that always were my favorites. Michael's when he turned on Janetti at the barbershop.
Yes.
Of course, Foley and Taker Hell in the Cell. I'll always remember where we were when we watched that. Like Justin had said earlier about Owen. It's not a good memory, but it's a memory I always have because I'll always remember watching that pay-per-view and that happening. I remember that was crazy. Tommy Dreamer, first pay-per-view, ECW pay-per-view, when they choke slammed him off that scaffold through like 7 tables or whatever. I'd never seen ECW before. That was the first time I'd watched it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That was crazy. Like Austin said, going to that SummerSlam and the Undertaker and Edge Hell in the Cell where he choke slammed them through the ring and the fire came up. You could feel the heat off the flame in the ring. Where we was at. Kurt Angle when he had the hat on singing. That's what I'll never forget.
Yes.
I'll never forget that.
One of my favorite things.
And the DX press conference where they came out before the show and we're talking about all the words they can't say.
That was
and then said them all.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Indy. I was there that night. Yep.
I wasn't there. I remember watching that on TV, and I'll never forget that either. But yeah, that was the one. That was the most one. Marcus, but yeah, like going to Marcus Square Arena. How many times do you think we went? I mean, we went
quite a few.
I'd say probably at least 7, 8, 9, 10 times we was at Marcus Square Arena.
I miss that place.
Yes, I do too. Real quick, I wanted to cut in, and I hope you don't get mad at me, but one of the fun things for me too was taking my kids when they was little to the wrestling shows. And I can remember one Halloween. I don't know if you remember this. You dressed up as Sting, and at that time, my son Jeff's favorite wrestler was the Great Muta. So he dressed up as Muta. He dressed up as Sting, and I remember taking him trick or treating. And also, he was so into the matches. He'd be twisting his fingers, his hands, and I mean, it was just the facial expressions. I mean, just so into it. So it made it great for me too. You know, for my kids to be so into it too.
I was a big Sting fan until
he wasn't a big NWO with that stuff. He went into the dark Sting. He was more.
I like the Surfer Sting.
What'd you say?
Surfer.
The Surfer Sting is who I liked. I didn't care for the Crow Sting and all that. I like the Surfer Sting.
That's how I am too. Well, I think it was because when they done the Crow Sting, it was so slow. All they kept doing was having them stand up in the rafters. It took too long to go anywhere with.
I think it was like a year.
Yeah,
it took literally a year, and then the pay-per-view, the one match he won.
And they messed up. And they messed up that finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a real big Sting up till then, and that's when I kind of faded away from him. I was definitely like the Surfer Sting a lot better.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like the Crow one
Yep.
better, but I was, and the Crow was fine. I do think they took too long to follow through the story, but I do I prefer the Surfer Sting. Now, what about you, Marcus? Which did you prefer?
Oh, I like Surfer Sting. You come out and go, "Oh!" I'm not going to do that, but I somewhat did anyway. But
Another memory that it'll always stick with me when Ric Flair came to WWE and won the Rumble.
Yep.
And then that promo.
It's my favorite Rumble. Yep. With a tear in my eye.
That was most of what I had wrote down.
Marcus, real quick before you go, have you watched the Randy Orton?
yes, I thought it was good. I thought it was
I thought it
good.
was really good. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, I did too. I'm right next Slaughter's next week. I'm looking forward to that.
And whoever thought of all the people that talked to him and tried to get through to him, who thought it would be Santino Marella?
Mm-hmm.
Would have been the guy that got through to him. Shawn Michaels couldn't get through to him. Nobody else could get through to him to straighten out. It was Santino had a big effect on him.
And that real quick, another memory would be the stuff we're doing now.
Oh yeah,
just the stuff we've done the last couple of years, 2.5 years with independent wrestling and people we've got to meet and stuff. I mean, we've got to do a lot of stuff. I never would have thought we'd ever done.
Well, think about it, Chris. I mean, when you did your very first show there at DCCW 2.5 years ago, whatever. Did you think that yesterday would be the 100th show?
Oh no.
Who would ever thought we would do 100 shows?
100 shows we've done, but then like I've got to sit out and talk to the Godfather at shows.
Yes.
Met the Rock and Roll Express and got listen to Warlord and Barbarian tell stories about Andre the Giant.
Yes.
I mean, just some of the stuff that we've got to do that I never dreamed that we'd be able to do. So
Victoria come up and introduce. You was busy, but Victoria come up and introduced herself to me and Marcus. I believe Marcus was sitting there.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Went out of her way to introduce herself to us because we was doing commentary. Just amazing. Okay, didn't mean to cut in on you, Marcus. You can go ahead.
If you got those memories and you remember them, throw them out there.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to play off some of you guys. The Owen Hart thing. This will be the 25th anniversary here in May 19th. I think it's the day for that.
May 23rd. It's actually my birthday.
Okay, but it'll be 25 years this year, sadly. Mm-hmm. Justin, you brought up WrestleMania 7. I always liked Savage and Warrior. That was Savage and Warrior retirement match. Miss Elizabeth Reed, and that's the one I loved on that one.
Yeah,
and that was an outstanding match. I love that WrestleMania 7.
We're getting to watch Warrior. We got to see him. We just never got to see Hogan.
As a wrestler, I didn't like how Warrior pinned him, but other than that, yeah, it was great. I didn't like the foot on the chest to beat him. But other than that, everything was great.
Yeah. I have that on DVD or VHS tape too. Let's see. All right, well, I'm going to stir the pot here, Gonzo boys. I've seen Hogan wrestle in person. And this is just the ones I remember. Adrian Adonis, that was my very first WWE or WWF match, August of 86. Hogan versus.
I can tell you this: it wasn't any of the shows we were at.
No.
And see, so I've seen him wrestle Adrian Adonis, Sergeant Slaughter in a boot camp match, Paul Orndorff when they were fighting and they're coming out to the same music. The One Man Gang, that was the night that they told that Andre and Hogan's rematch was coming up the following month. So that had to be January of 88. Seen him wrestle Earthquake in a stretcher match. Killer Khan at the State Fair. That's true. I got Kelly recruited. And then I seen Hogan and Beefcake take on Money Incorporated the night before Hogan lost the belt back to Yokozuna. And that's the night I met Jimmy Hart for the first time because he was out there in that foyer out there, you know, when you can walk, start at one point, you just keep walking, and eventually you'd be back where you started. Yep. And he was out there, met Jimmy Hart that night. Seen Linda Hogan, Beefcake's wife, and Yokozuna pinned Hacksaw Jim Duggan that night, and then he won the title the next night. So that's just to stir it up. That's just the ones I remember. Okay, well, I was hoping Homeless Hank would be on here tonight, or Hank Calhoun, because my first EWF match was March 10th of 2001, and as I was telling you the other day, having Johnny Blaze run her camera, Johnny Blaze, I was at the Ramada Inn in India at a WCWO show. He was wrestling Joey Owens, and the top rope broke, and he plowed into the cement floor, and that was in 01. And then to be doing him running her camera years later. Well, now I'm on a podcast with Justin Danger, who I'd seen March 10th, 2001. It's one of them. And if I wish Hank was here, because Hank was sitting out the front door. I will wrestle dude passing out at the front door. You remember that when they were doing?
Yes, I do.
I have a picture of that somewhere, and it's like I wish he was on here for that. But so to have the two EWF originals, but I guess I only get one. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think I got. Was it the promo Cody cut? And this is kind of off topic. During the pay-per-view this past weekend, is he the one when he says if The Rock was out here, he'd be talking about Rudy Poo and pie?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that shit was funny. I had to throw that in there when he started talking about Rudy Poos and pie. Okay, here we go. And this is why I want to do commentary for NGW at the Armory in Crawfordsville, because I seen Dick the Bruiser, Yukon Moose Cholak, and Bobo Brazil. I think it'd be awesome to do commentary just one time, be like a full circle. The Bruiser Riot. I was part of a Bruiser Riot. The debut of Undertaker in Indy when he was nobody. And
Did you start the riot?
No, I didn't start. I was only 16. It was hair versus hair, but I'll tell you, I got the hair from that in my years. But the police were involved, and they were screaming. It was loud. Yeah.
Well, no, you've been wanting a riot, so I was wondering if maybe you started it.
No, I was only 16. I didn't even know what riots was at that time. Do you remember, Justin, when Eden wrestled Justin Fury? It was the night Jake the Snake come in.
Yeah.
Eden come crashing down through those tables.
Yeah.
It was like right there in front of us.
Okay.
Because we say, you remember Karen?
Yeah.
Karen said right there at that emergency exit, and we had the 4 seats next to her. So them tables
Okay.
were right there.
Right.
Crashing down through them. I already did the homeless Hank. Oh, when you stapled the dollar to your head. Because you kept telling everybody, I'm going to staple a dollar to my head. I'm going to staple it. Like you got this gun and this dollar. You're all running around. And yep. He stapled it to his own head. I don't. Okay, the war to settle the score. That was the setup for WrestleMania. Piper versus Hogan. They aired that on MTV and the MSA network. And a buddy of mine had it on a VHS tape. And he brought it to school. And it got around that I had it on VHS tape, and we watched that in my 11th grade chemistry class. The teacher said, you go get the tape, and he wheeled in a VCR and a TV, and we watched that in chemistry class in 11th grade. The AWA match, Coliseum at the Fairgrounds, Sergeant Slaughter versus Boris Zukov. They had a battle royal that Scott Hall won, and I didn't even realize Scott Hall and Razor Ramon was the same guy till years later, because he had such a different look. He had that Magnum look. Throughout his hair and stuff. And Baron Von Raschke took on P.S. Michael Hayes that night, too. At the NWA, Sting versus Flair. The Road Warriors versus the Powers of Pain. ECW, Taz came in and pinned Mike Awesome for the ECW title.
Well, neither one of them was under ECW, right?
Yeah.
In Indianapolis.
Yep, I was there for that. When Austin pinned Kurt Angle on Raw. That was in Indianapolis as well. Who brought up the press conference with Michaels and Triple H China not being able to cuss? That was the same night that they threw the New Age Outlaws through Cactus Jack and
Chainsaw Charlie.
into that
Chainsaw Charlie.
dumpster and rolled
Yep.
it off. That was the same
Yep.
night. We was there in Indy. I
A
was
lot
at
of stuff happened in Indy.
Yeah, it did. And it was all Market Square Arena. That place was a hotbed.
Mm-hmm.
There was some of that. Buried Alive match.
Yep.
I Buried Alive was awesome.
And Ricky Steamboat versus Brian Pillman in a cage at the Coliseum. And that's just page one. That's all I wrote down because I didn't want to be like our question and answers was the other day. And
Yeah.
because I could go forever if I get to thinking about it.
Yeah, another one I just thought of was when DX took the tank to WCWO.
Oh yeah.
That shit's gold. I'm telling you.
that was awesome.
One that I've just thought of, and I've said it before. You was there, but you was 5 or 6 years old. We went to the Muncie Fairgrounds, and it was a Bruiser show. It was one of Bruiser's last shows. I'm not gonna say this very last, but one of his last shows. It was him and Yukon Moose against Dr. Jerry Graham and Kent.
Bulldog Don Kent.
Bulldog Don Kent in a cage match. And crazy, I don't know why, but Yukon decided to climb up on the top rope. And Don Kent's down on the ground and waiting for him to jump off. Bruiser's on one side over here, and Graham is down on the ground where they beat him up. And Bruiser said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I'm not jumping and I can't get down." And they're all laughing. All four of them are just cracking up laughing. Don't know why Yukon went up there, because he wasn't going to jump and he couldn't get down. And and it's funny because they're just all cracking up laughing. We're all laughing. All the fans are laughing. And Bruiser had to finally help him down. It was unbelievable. I don't remember anybody else on that show, but I remember that.
If you go on YouTube and you throw up Jim Cornette and Bobby Heenan, they're sitting at a table talking. And Bobby Heenan was talking about Yukon Moose. He said once he got in the ring, the rule was you don't go outside the ring because he couldn't go outside the ring. And he will take the pin. He's going to be the one that pins you, but don't do anything to get him on the mat until you're ready for that pin because then he can't get back up. And they said he went to blade himself, and he went in his pants, pulled out the blade, and went. And it's like, okay, well, that was obvious because he pulled it out, crossed hands, done it. It's like, okay, you dipshit. So, yeah, there's a lot of Yukon Moose stories if you get to listen to those guys. Because
I remember seeing Larry Sabisco and them at the racetrack.
Yeah, in Anderson at the Speedway. Scott Hall was there. Henning was there. Sabisco was there. Yeah, yep.
I mean, I was young then, but yeah. I remember that because they done it like right after the races.
Something bringing that up is really not to do with wrestling, but real quick, both my sons worked at the racetrack selling Cokes and popcorn. They would have the little kids go around and sell the stuff. I don't know if it's legal or not, but they did it.
And then paid them in hot dogs. Yes,
they paid them money.
Did you guys ever go to that arena, that EWF, when it was in the theater?
No.
Oh, man. That Eden guy I was talking to used to use flash paper, and he'd walk the back of the seats. Because the arena seats were still there. It's just they put the ring down in front of the screen, and he'd walk in there, and he'd get in there, and he'd throw that flame up. Yeah,
he learned that just by us goofing around before the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in that arena.
Uh-huh.
Marcus, I'm going to put you on the spot. See if you can come up with something. What's your favorite EWF match?
I don't know. I've seen quite a few of them. That Eden Justin Fury was pretty good. Oh, you'll have to get back with me because I'll have to really cipher on that.
We should put you on the spot. You've seen so many independent matches. Make you do your top 10 favorite all-time independent matches.
And a top 10 worst.
Yeah.
Well, you know what number one is? It just
happens.
Well, you guys was there when I kept trying to explain to Bruce about how bad that was, and I kept saying, "Hey, Casey, tell me about the scramble match." Everybody that happened to see that.
Oh man, yeah, it was rough. That was
Oh
one.
no, it was weird because Maples come up with some crazy shit. He had a pie on a pole match, busted the Wicked Clown, and then he was sorry as hell because it took him forever to get the pie cleaned up off the mat.
Well,
And the watermelon they brought.
Hank had a cheeseburger on a pole match too.
I didn't see that, but you remember the watermelon? Eden,
Uh-huh.
not Eden. That Mexican guy was so funny. He was on Raw there for a while too.
El Vato.
Yeah.
Johnny Diaz.
And see, I want to be a little PC incorrect here, but Maples sent this black rookie guy to go get watermelons, and he walks in the front of the building, and everybody gets to laughing because there's this guy of color carrying these watermelons in. But then they got to beating each other in watermelons, and people were getting smacked with the rinds. I remember it was hitting the wall, and Barry's wife at the time was getting pissed because that watermelon juice was getting everywhere. And
Uh-huh.
somebody started selling silly string in the gift shop concession stand, but he only did that once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
People started going to the Dollar Tree and bringing their own silly strings.
That silly string.
I got all over our equipment today.
Was at that one show and that they sprayed it all over at our table and it got all over the microphones and the equipment and stuff. And it took forever. I was finding the silly string it seemed like for 2 months.
Well, that's like I say. They only sold it that one night, and then they took it off. But then people were bringing their own. It's like, yeah, that was a good venue. I like that.
And no disrespect to anybody, but that match the other night, that was hard. That was hard to. It was hard to watch, but it was hard to commentate as well because
it was nuts. It was. Real quick, another memory I just thought of, and I'm envious because it didn't happen to me. My wife, and I've said it before, my wife took my daughter to the bathroom at one show, and they was getting ready to go to the ladies' bathroom, and Akeem, the African Dream, who had just wrestled, was coming out of the ladies' bathroom with Lipa Lanipafo. He was in there using the mirror to comb his hair. He had just took a shower, and they went in there, and they're coming out, and they almost run into each other. And my wife got pictures with him. Of course, my daughter was really, really small, and I mean, she's smaller. She's smaller than me now. She's shorter than me now. So everybody knows how short I am. But she was really little, and we're taking a picture with Akeem, the African Dream, and he's got a hold of her hand. Her whole hand's almost bigger than her whole body. It was nuts. And then another time they went to the concession stand as the show was going on, and there's the Bushwhackers. And Bushwhackers are there at the concession stand getting a drink, and they got to meet the Bushwhackers. And I missed out on missing all 4 of those guys. But I thought that was pretty cool. But my wife got pictures with all of them.
If you get to thinking about it, I got all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I got to find those pictures. I got tons of pictures from those EWFs more from the theater than I do the old garage. But that was just a beautiful setup.
Yeah. I like the long ramp of it.
Well, yeah, and you guys coming in on one side and us coming in on the other, and they did gimmick infringement night where all the guys played WWF, WCW guys, and
that was the first night that I met Apollo Starr and Rob Kincaid. I was on that show.
Who's the guy that used to wrestle with Jackhammer, the big tall guy?
Grizzly.
Yeah, he was Big Show, and he come down there and but he wore a set of tights that were really tight, and his wife's like, "Oh shit, his parts are showing." I remember her saying that because he was Justin Danger's worst match.
It hasn't happened because I don't have a bad match.
How many dog collar matches have you been in? Because I know I've seen you in at least 2 now.
With Chaos's match, I think it's 5.
And Kelly had a question. Kelly, I'm going with Kelly.
I'm going against the grain. I'm going with Marcus.
I'm still losing. You wouldn't believe how many people saw.
Well, it's all right because next time I see you guys, I'll just stay away and keep running because I know I'm going to get hit.
Real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to our kind of our home base, me and Chris especially, which I know Austin, excuse me, Marcus is big fans of them too. But DCCW made a big announcement yesterday for the Bearcat Rumble. It's a benefit show. It's going to be March. I'm not saying August. March the 30th at Muncie Central High School. All proceeds, that's concessions and everything, go to the Bearcat Wrestling Club. And they announced their main star that they're bringing in, and it will be none other than Rob Van Dam. So should be a great show. Van Dam don't come around these parts too much, and should be a great opportunity to.
I think I'd heard this. It'd be his first time being in Muncie.
It'll be his first time in Muncie.
And if you talk to Mitchell Taylor, it might be his last. But anyhow. Yeah, it'll be my third Bearcat Rumble.
Yes. Definitely looking forward to that. And congratulations to DCCW to be able to get that opportunity to bring him in. And looking for a great show. Well, does anybody have anything else?
I don't
either.
I'm good.
Other than this Saturday night, WCWO in Lebanon.
Yes,
Lebanon. But it's at the Armory this time, not at the fairgrounds.
I'm sorry, Justin. We won't see you. Justin will be at NGW. They're doing a show at NGW at Crawfordsville.
And NGW this Saturday night, or Saturday as well.
Yeah, in Crawfordsville. Yeah, two great shows happening this weekend on Saturday. So definitely check out one of those shows, whatever's closer to you. And we will be. No, we won't be live. I don't assume. We don't know. We don't know about the internet situation.
An Armory, I doubt it, because it'll probably be the same situation we dealt with a few weeks ago.
Probably. I would say probably the same as in Muncie. Won't give you the damn Wi-Fi password.
Well, Kelly's wondering if that ain't have something to do with government regulations.
Yeah, it does.
It had a point behind that. So.
Yeah.
But my thing is, when you pull it up, there's one that says guest.
Yeah, but I don't think they mean off the street guests. I think they mean visiting commanders or something. I guess.
Well, yeah, probably. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they won't give us. They won't let us use it. That's for damn sure. We've tried. We've been there 3 or 4 times now. They let us use it.
I'm telling you guys, you need to get there early. I talked to the ring guys, and they're going to be there at 1, and so are we, because there is hardly any parking around that building.
I got a plan. I'm mailing you a couple orange cones, so you can mark us out.
They have orange cones. It is an Armory. I'll just have to go find out where they're at. My dad used to work for the state. Maybe I get some of them big barrels out there.
Have Marcus.
Hey, Marcus, I got an idea. We get there early and get parked, and then maybe we could take one vehicle, and maybe we could put something somewhere, and we could go eat.
Well, the only thing is you got to take my buggy, and that takes up too much real estate. That's the only problem with that.
Does that fit in the back of Mom's?
It won't fold up, so I'm telling you that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
I mean, I would love to. I just don't know that that'll work.
Yep.
And Chris is a Grubhub guy. Maybe he can just go Grubhub us stuff or DoorDash.
Yeah, Chris, go pick us up something. We'll give you a $5 tip.
I mean, we can try it and see. Because Kelly says most of the town closes at 10, so there's no eating afterwards.
Yeah. Well, guys, I guess we'll get out of here.
If you missed the shows from this weekend, go check those out on our YouTube page at Gonzo'S Sports Room. Please hit that subscribe button while you're over there. Follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo'S Sports Room as well. We appreciate everybody joining us, and we'll see you guys next Monday. Forgot I had everything messed up from where he was trying to fix.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
Oh! This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I